get comfortable finishing songs, and even if you don't release the song, it's still worth doing because you've practiced going through the process of completing a song. Hey there, synth explorers, welcome back to Akiva Music. Today I wanted to give you 10 tips for things I wish I knew before I started music production. Master your stock plugins before buying lots of third-party plugins. So this is something which I think we're all guilty of. You see a new shiny plugin, you see a discount on Plugin Boutique, and you think, I'm going to get that. And it's another thing to learn. Plus, they're not always as good as your stock plugins, and they often use more processing power as well. Definitely get familiar with your stock plugins. There's loads of really amazing sounds you can get with them, whether it's Logic or Ableton. There's something in there that will get you really far. So before you spend 20 quid here, 50 quid there, all of these things add up. And ultimately, that's all time and money which is spent on things that you may end up not really needing when you've got your own stock plugins. Try not to worry too much about the mix so much. It's really important to start with the sound selection when you're producing and think about songwriting as well. It's very easy to get quite technical with thinking about compression or thinking about EQ, but actually getting great sounds in the first place and making sure that those fit with the song, and also thinking about the structure of the song and making a song that makes somebody feel something or is catchy or whatever, really, but just thinking about songwriting and sound selection early on, because I think I got very interested in EQing things and slapping compressors on stuff, but really I wasn't really thinking about the actual songs. Getting better at songwriting is one of the key things for me. Think about gain staging early, even though we don't want you to think about technical stuff or thinking about the mix, but making sure that you're not slamming your tracks and you're not distorting them, because you might not necessarily hear what the distortion is, or you might think that you like it at the time, but it's not intentional distortion. So yeah, thinking about gain staging and just making sure you're not blasting your meters and just trying to keep them in the green, so that when you do get to send it over to a mix engineer or you start mixing something for yourself, you're not dealing with really distorted tracks. Don't be afraid of using presets. I am obviously known for getting stuck into synths and making my own patches, but it all started with unpicking what are in presets, and most presets on software synths will have macros that you can change, but you can also just dive in there and tweak things as you want, really. So I think getting stuck into presets and making them work for you or for your song, there's nothing wrong with that. And the people making these presets, they're often incredible sound designers who have been working with synths for years. So you're going to get a really good sound potentially from using presets. So there's no harm in using presets at all. And it's a good learning tool as well. I am a huge advocate of watching loads of YouTube tutorials and soaking up lots of information, but you can't get better than actually getting stuck in and making music. If you are going to watch YouTube tutorials, try and implement what you've learned straight away. Don't just watch loads of stuff and then do nothing with it. Try and come back to it, actually learn from what you've picked up and practice it as well. This is a huge one for me, but the art of actually finishing songs rather than getting stuck in the loop is massive, and is one of the things that I find is still a challenge, and it's a challenge for lots of people. Making sure that you're moving on from that loop and trying to expand it into a song is one of the key things. And I think I found that I was starting so many songs that I was getting good at creating ideas, but then the actual art of arrangement and making a full song and finishing the production and finishing all of the bells and whistles that you need to get to, all of the ear candy and the transitions, all of that stuff was being left behind. So definitely try and get used to finishing songs. And there's a great podcast called the Finish More Music podcast that I listened to for a while. Definitely worth having a listen to that. Get comfortable finishing songs. And even if you don't release the song, it's still worth doing because you've practiced going through the process of completing a song and finishing it. This kind of comes back to getting comfortable with your DAW, but also thinking about limited palette. I think that's something that I'm a big fan of, and I really love the sounds that I've worked on. I think I have a signature sound, And that all comes from creative limitations. Get really good or really familiar with one synthesizer or one drum machine or a set of sounds that resonate with you and try and really take them to as far as they can go. Not only will you learn those synths or those drum machines really well, you'll also begin to feel like what makes your music yours. So yeah, I think that's really worth doing as well. Comparison is the thief of joy. This is about social media and trying not to look at others and compare yourself to others all the time. I think we live in a world where we're always exposed to other people and what they've got and what they're doing, and you're only seeing a snapshot of their lives, basically. So I think running in your own lane is what I try and do. And even though it's really challenging when you want to promote yourself as an artist, as a musician, you're obviously going to be seeing lots of other people because you need to be on these platforms. But I think trying not to compare yourself to others and compare yourselves to those successes. I think you're having success within your own timeline and seeing how far you've grown in a time is more important than thinking about, oh, they've done this or they've got this many streams or whatever. So try not to think about that, which is really difficult. But yeah, eventually you'll get there, and you'll get there in your own way. Your taste will improve faster than your skills. So this is something which is quite difficult to understand. You'll be listening to lots of music that you love, and you'll be trying to think about how that impacts your own music. And there's going to be lag between where you want to be and where you are. And what I find is that I end up rotating between areas that I want to improve on. So it'll be one period of time I'll be thinking, oh, my drum rhythms could be better. And another time I'll be thinking, oh, my lead parts could be better. And you eventually work on all these things and they all move up a bit at a time. So it's rare for people to go from not knowing anything to being really great at everything or solid at everything. There's always going to be areas where you think you can improve. Think about that as you go and try not to be disheartened when part of your skill set is still growing or isn't as strong as others. You don't have to do your own mixing. Obviously, it's a great skill to have. Some people are really great at it naturally, but there's a reason why there's mix engineers and mastering engineers, because sometimes having that separation between creating the music and then passing it off to a producer or a mixing engineer, mastering engineer, it's another pair of ears. And also you can learn a lot from working with a good mixing engineer or a good mastering engineer. That feedback from taking what you had before and taking it a step further is really valuable. I think if you don't feel like you want to do that, then that's completely fine. I didn't think that I wanted to, but I found myself more and more getting interested in the technical side and how to mix other people's music. And that's really exciting for me, but that isn't for everybody. So don't be afraid to pass it on to someone else and to learn from them as well. So that's it. That's my 10 tips that I wish I could tell myself when I started doing music production. I hope you found them useful. Let me know what your tips are. Pop them in the comments. I'll be really interested to see what tips you would tell yourself if you could.